CDC. They're at it again. Launches forecasting center to be like the National Weather Service for infectious disease. Okay. Now, once again, the CDC, right, changed the transmission level guidelines, right? They were originally like whatever was high transmission was like 100 cases per like 100,000, I think. And then low transmission was changed to 200. So what they did was they doubled the high transmission and then made that low, and then it's like power creep, right? This is what they've done as of April 7th, I believe it was, 6th maybe. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't really trust them on this angle. Like, I would prefer if like this might be like a way for them to disseminate information more easily if they have like a centralized channel or some sort of service like that. So if that's the case, I support it in that angle, but I still just don't trust the CDC to accurately report information. And that's, but I'll read the story and see how this goes with some details. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention launched its Center for Forecasting and Outbreak Analytics on Tuesday. The center aims to be like the National Weather Service for infectious diseases, helping to guide decision-making at all levels. Now, again, I just... Data-driven weather forecasts help leaders know when to deploy resources to respond to hurricanes, and individuals decide whether they need to bring an umbrella with them when they go out. Similarly, the CDC's new Disease Forecasting Center aims to guide decisions about broad public health needs like developing vaccines or deploying antivirals, and helping individuals decide whether it's safe for them to go to the movie theater. I mean, like, I agree with this in principle. I want the CDC to be truthful about it. That's my problem. Is they've already proven that they're not truthful about transmission stuff. If they do this and everything that they report is accurate information, then I support it. I mean, even if everything they say is not necessarily super accurate, I think that this is like good infrastructure in general. I think this is good infrastructure to build in general, right, that can be improved over time. So I think this is overall probably a good move. But again, I have to criticize the CDC's recent behaviors and actions as well. As the United States approaches a grim milestone of 1 million lives lost to COVID, recently appointed White House Coronavirus Response Coordinator Dr. Ashish Jha said the failure to be prepared is really startling. Joe Biden's been in office for a year, right? Like, once again, flashback. October of last year, Kamala Harris said that the Delta variant blindsided the White House. They didn't see it coming. They had no idea another variant would happen. And then they didn't do anything after Delta to prepare for Omicron at all. So, what? That's Biden's fault. Biden should have been on day one going into the White House, like, fixing all the problems with the CDC, appointing completely new people to the CDC, all this and all that. He didn't, and now we're at 1 million people dead. So, I don't know. Like, how did we not get prepared? Like, Trump should have prepared us too for a second wave. But he didn't. And so, if you're going to run against Trump and win, Joe Biden won the 2020 election, Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. If you run against someone and use COVID as a wedge issue to get people to vote for you, you got to do something. I don't know. Like, it's just like, this is ridiculous. The response from our leadership, our public health leadership, has been to scramble, hold together evidence, try to make the best decisions we can. And I would argue we've done a pretty good job, he said at a summit supporting the launch. He's lying. As I said before, everyone who's been marketing this whole living with COVID thing, anyone who's been marketing that whole bullshit lie needs to go to jail, in my opinion. If, like, it's one thing if you're like a podcaster or a random douchebag online, but, like, you're just stupid. But the people, the public health officials, the politicians, the people in like these major CEOs and lobbyists that have been pushing this whole living with COVID rhetoric, they all need to go to jail. I mean, there is no accountability in this country. They are responsible for manufacturing the deaths of over 1 million people and counting every single day. They need to be held accountable. This is like the worst mass death crisis this country has seen in so fucking long. Like, in my opinion, these people should go to jail for crashing the economy and making people lose their homes. They should go to jail for getting people killed because they don't have health insurance and they can't see a medical professional for things like cancer. And they should be going to jail for telling people to go back to work, take your mask off on the plane, get COVID and die. There should be some accountability for this. And them just lying in their... Oh, yeah, so, you know, obviously the evidence is we haven't been doing a good job. But hear me out. I think we've been doing pretty decent. I think we've done a pretty good job. Huh? Can you point to one thing this government has done that's good? I mean, the stimulus package, the best thing that they did. And now they're afraid to do another one, so I don't know. Anyway, I'm into this. I support this new service. I'm going to be monitoring it, very skeptically. But I do think that this is good infrastructure to build. I think that, if this infrastructure starts to exist, and let's say, like, over the next 10 years, we have some intense audit of what went wrong during the COVID crisis, and the people that need to be held accountable are in some way, and there's a complete restructuring of the CDC, which I would support. I want that to be the future, right? I think that this is good infrastructure to build. I think this is good to lay the groundwork on, because clearly this is going to be the start of a new wave of pandemic cycles, and, the more public health infrastructure, the better, in my opinion. But still, there you go.